Well, this will be my first time commentating on PC. There is a little bit of a change, because usually I raced on PlayStation or commentated on PlayStation, but now it's time for changes. The crossplay is coming for this year, and I'm on Steam right now on PC. Welcome to my first ever commentary on PC platform on Steam. Exactly, the owner of the league, Wojciech Śmigowski, welcomes you to the ERO PC social race around Abu Dhabi, the first official social race in F1 22 on the PC platform, of course. You could see a couple of PlayStation streams and stuff, but to be honest, it was like a stream was going, and we're absolutely fine. Now it's time for proper broadcasted race. Drivers are getting themselves are readying themselves up. We're about to start the short qualifying session because this race is going to be standard rules ERO race, which is short qualifying, 50% be clean driver, and that's about it. What is the track? Well, you could already see on the thumbnail. It is going to be Abu Dhabi, the new layout, which has already seen dramatic actions despite being for only one singular race in real Formula 1 history. So, we're here, we're in the garages with all the drivers. There's 18 of them today. So, welcome to the European Race Organization's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as a social race. What's actually the biggest advantage on PC? Well, on PlayStation, I got called that I'm confusing people because I'm speaking to them with real names, while there is, for example, Gul or Maxtro or Passassin. Now we have actually the real names and there will be no confusion. What is the grid for today? Before all the drivers do their laps, also I see I will need to adjust sound settings because this is my first time streaming, but still. Quickly going through the grid, we'll be going from whatever is on the standings right now. So starting with the top 10 PCF3 driver Maciej from Poland. He is the driver who was also coming out of the pits, like a couple of them as well. Next is Daniel Bakali, who's currently in the pits. The McLaren driver, also PCF3, 4th place last season. Jordi Vogt, who didn't race last season and has got only one appearance in season 6. Continuing, PCF3 champion Paul Hill will race in Ferrari. Then in Williams we have Quill Pavlakovic, who has been racing in PCF1 and was fighting for the 10th place out there. Actually finished 9th as far as I'm aware. Jose Jardim, also correct me if I'm wrong when pronouncing the names, is racing for Alfa Romeo. He's from PCF3. From PCF2 we've got the next drivers of Darrell Ilos, Owen Hayden and Rafael Ferraz, who all have been racing in PCF2 with different outcomes. Well, the best one was definitely Owen with getting 2nd place in the championship. Continuing, we've got Darius Bodan, all the other PCF2 racer, who has joined mid-season with his teammate and friend Fur Imtiaz. Then we've got Mercedes. The first one is PCF1. Luke Mills, who's got the podium last season. Well, he was adjusting himself to the new wheel, so hence why the results of him in the first half of season 7 weren't so great. His teammate for today is Alfie Harvey, who has been racing in PCF2 with decent outcome. Paolo Burlini, the man who is starting his hot lap right now, has been racing in PCF3, then quickly promoted to PCF1, and these were two different stories because Paolo in PCF3 was actually dominating, but when moved to PCF1 it was a bit of unlucky moments and stuff like that, ending with him getting 0 points in PCF1. Lucas McGuinty had to retire mid-season, but he's back for season 8, probably, and he is racing today in Alpine. The next other PC2 driver, as I see, Lucas McGuinty, spinning around already. The first spin on PC for me, as I see, but he's already without his front wing and has to go to the pits. Back to the pits. Sorry. Jakub Bosiński is another PCF2 driver who has been racing with a decent outcome, fighting for the 5th place in the championship that year. And Adam Leipich is in Aston Martin, who was racing in PCF2 as well, with decent point results. Also got a Constructors' Championship with Dino Piszkadia, the later PCF2 champion. And the final one, well, the one who was fighting for the championship in season 6. At the final he's been 2nd, but still a very quick driver racing in top leagues. Tom Moirer, he's welcomed for this social race, as we've got first lap for today at 24.3 For Darius Bodan, Bordelini makes 23.5, placing him on provisional pole. Maurer takes third at the moment, 24.3. Well, I'm wondering what will be the strategies for today's race, because as you are aware, and Bakalik, beautiful spin, but speaking about strategies, well, I'm genuinely wondering what are the strategies going to be, because in trial race in Silverstone, where we allow any strategy you want as long as it has common sense and the recruitment process, well, most of the drivers have been using either medium to hards or hards to mediums. There were also mediums to softs, like there's loads of variations drivers are using, and I'm wondering which one is the most OP. Well, if you want to keep your tires safe, I have realized that mediums to hards are the best way to go. But if you want to have the pace, mediums to softs, but you have to manage them very well. As drivers are approaching the hairpin, as Bakali could have interrupted Imchas. Yes, it was Imchas, but Imchas is in his outlap. We're seeing a lot of mess currently going on in this qualifying with a couple of spins already. Bodan will probably go to the pit, so we're looking at the drivers currently on their hot laps. For example, Quill Pavlakovic is coming out of turn 9. That was formerly turn 9. Now it's turn 6, 7, 8. We're now going to turn 9 with Quill, as he's on the way with a 1/6 of lap time after sector 2. There's still sector 3 to go, so I bet he might be either backing out of this lap, or he's just preparing himself for another one, because you can see he's got half ERS, or he will just go to the pits, because he's got little fuel, and he does the go to the pits. As Heinen is on his outlap, same as Imchas and McGinty. As during this time when nobody is doing laps, we'll be quickly adjusting the audio settings. This should be better, as Owen is currently starting his hot lap. Right behind him for Imchas, the PCF2 runner-up with disabling assist right now. He's currently using line only, and his lap times are pretty promising, as he may go into PCF1. There is a very likely chance for him to do so. As Owen is currently into Sector 2. This Sector 2 has seen loads of scenes. Actually, this track, despite having current layout for only a singular race, has already seen a lot, and I will actually not tell you because you all know what that means. It was a title fight between Mercedes and Red Bull, between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. We all know this story, which was a great ending to the fantastic chapter that has seen so many scenes. I know there were controversies. There was loads of controversy apparently, considering last season, but still, for a neutral viewer like me, it was actually great. Owen goes second with 24.5, but Borlini looks like very strong for the season with 23.5. He already outscored drivers by 0.4 of a second, and we're speaking about second 4 inches. Who's 4 tenths behind yet again. So I guess these drivers had a little bit more of grip, because the grip levels are increasing on a linear scale in the F1 games. There are some people already on the hot laps. For example, Paul Hill, who isn't a fan of short shitting, I assume. As he's now going into the turn 6. We've got around 10 minutes to go in this qualifying session. As far as I'm aware, I would like to see this yellow flag disappear. Yes, it is 10 minutes to go in this qualifying. As you can see. Okay! That was unexpected. That was actually unexpected. Looks like Drake Dempsey is going to join us. I don't know if as a commentator, as a viewer, or maybe as a driver. That would be actually cool. We have seen racing him. We have seen him racing for half a season in PCF1, same as PSF1. I still don't know why he retired from that title fight with Guil in season 6, but considering season 7, well, He participated like 7 races and won 6 of them as Paul Hill goes back to the pits. I wonder what's his rig on right now, because... Well, drivers are pretty excited in the chat. But still, Rafael Ferraz invited lap time. McGuinty into turn 5, which has seen the most famous overtake in probably Formula 1 history. I know there are a couple of iconic ones, but still, this one is like having the biggest impact, I'll be honest. One of the biggest impacts. As McGuinty nearly gets his lap invalidated because there's that little tweak on the end of this DRS straight. As now he goes onto the another one and he'll go to the sector 3. McGuinty with 24.3, not sure, because this is a new layout. I don't remember these lap times exactly. There's Alfa Romeo just doing Giovinazzi things, because in real life Giovinazzi also retired in the same, nearly the same spot, because it was on the other side of the road. As it's confirmed, Drake Dempsey is racing today. It was a bit unexpected. He wasn't declaring his participation, but he's done that, as McGuinty invalidates his lap time. Still, Drake is racing today. One of the fastest drivers in the world, and probably a future esports driver. I hope so. As congratulations, Jordi. He's been disqualified, and he will go from 9th place to last, and he's going to start last today. That's a bit of a story. As yeah, let me take a second yet again to adjust the sound settings. As always, I'm streaming for the first time today on PC, so there will be corrections into the every single stuff. But in the meantime, Tom Moyer gets second with 23.8. One of AlphaTauri aims for being class, because Drake Dempsey was usually starting class in PCF1 races, and Tom Moyer aims for pole. So AlphaTauri's filling in the first and last spot on the grid. Meanwhile, looking at drivers currently on their hot laps, it looks like there's a bit of a cooldown moment, because, for example, Pavlakovic, who set his lap time of 25.3, is just 5 milliseconds behind Paul Hill. Well, that's a bit of a sign. As Alfie Harvey is now going onto the DRS straight. As looks like he's now on his proper hot lap. He's got 25.743. Well, he has to improve by a lot if he wants to get into top 10, because it's around 0.3 of a second. If he wants to outscore Adam Leipzig and get into 10th place. And probably Adam Leipzig, no, he's in the pits. It's Maciej Turek causing up yellow flags in the sector 3. But Alfie goes 8 tenths faster. That means he's on to make 24.9. Placing him currently in 8th. If he doesn't mess up his final corners, as Drake Dempsey confirms he's starting last on the grid, that will probably win the race today, because who else would if he's on the grid. Still, Alfie wants to take the pole position, probably. There is a chance of him spinning heavily. That was a bit of a save, but I guess he might have been disqualified in the actual race, because the track limits in Abu Dhabi are not so great. They are not so great coded. There were a couple of reports about them being broken, just like Portimao penultimate cone, that right-hander from which you go onto the main straight. As now, it's Darrell Eilis on his lap. Right behind him, Daniel Bakalik, both in McLaren. As Darrell goes 4 tenths quicker, placing him currently still 14th. But there is still sector 3. And there is more grip than in his first hot lap. It's just less than 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Looks like Darrell will definitely be improving himself, but of course I don't see him currently being better than 10, but we'll see. He's going now to the fast right-hander, which also has been updated comparing to previous years, as now he is about to cross the line and make 26.0, placing him currently on 13th, but Bakalik outscores him with 25.2, and he is 9th now. as Lucas McGuinty is trying again. He's now starting alongside Rick Dempsey. Can't get ahead of him in the qualifying, like he has to set any lap time to do so. Lucas makes 54.7. This is slightly better than what he did last time out. But after coming out of this turn 9 hairpin, he's again doing the sector 3 like every single driver on this hot lap. But looking at his momentum, it looks pretty decent. Definitely better than being 17th or 18th like he is now. As he approaches the fast right-hander and will finish the lap with 26.2, placing him on the 16th place. But there's still a lot of time to gain on his lap. It can be, for example, 23.5. I wonder what would be Drake's lap, but I guess he would be going for 23.1 or 2 as Burlini invalidates his lap and goes back to the pits. Which means it's a chance for Tom Moirer now to get pole position, or one of the Haas drivers who are very, very strong today. Just like Haas in real life, after all the mess of 2021. Now in 2022, they are quicker, they are faster, they are competitive. Because they can fight for even sometimes double points with Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher in real life. There is definitely progress in this team. As Günther Steiner has made this team perform better with all of the crew in Haas, and that's amazing to see. Now, Darius Balayan, can he replicate the Haas decent performances in real life into the F1 game, as he's now starting his hot lap? Very interested is going to do that soon, as he's now on the penultimate corner. As Balayan is currently a bit slower comparing to his best lap, but now he's approaching DRS, and we'll see, because there's a Williams right ahead of him. There might be a little bit of help in terms of slipstream, and that's Jakub Muszyński ahead of him. So, as of now, we'll see how is the delta time for Balayan after this straight he's going at. As now Muszyński has let him past. He's using DRS, ERS, all the power he has. I've seen somebody improving his lap. It's Pawlakovic currently in 7th, and Balayan is improving by around 1.5 tenths, placing him on 4th place. That would be a second row for Haas. Second row lockout. I know they would prefer front row lockout, but it's still pretty decent. Darius Balayan about to finish his lap, as he's now approaching the two ultimate corners, actually the 2 final corners of Yas Marina circuit, where we initially raced in 2009. Gets 3rd, 4 milliseconds behind Tom Moirer. That's a very, very close gap between these two. But we might see some fighting between them in the race, actually, with this little bit of a margin. It's now Furimchas on the way to finish his lap. Sector 2 was a little bit worse comparing to his best lap time, but how about Sector 3? He gets 2nd, 20 milliseconds ahead of Tom. And he got purple sector. Still, Paulo's lap is not endangered until Tom Moirer starts his lap. I wonder how about the Haas's, because Balayan is definitely not making his lap. How about him just a spun round with a Mercedes of Alfie Harvey? And that's going probably to be a little bit discussed during in the chat apparently, as Owen is currently fastest into sector 1. You can see the purple sector number 1. He's now approaching DRS, as he's now going to turn 6. He feels faster on this track. Despite the fact he calls every single track bad, he's actually pretty fast. And he shows that, for example, this qualifying he's 5th against PCF1 drivers, current and former, as qualifying timer is now up. Pawlakovic, Hill, Bakali, McGuinty, Jardim, Harvey and Ferraz will not make any more laps, same as Jake Dempsey and Jody Vogt. Hayden is faster than Burlini in Sector 2. He's currently 14th up of his lap time, and he may be going for pole position on the Red Bull, as Owen is currently approaching the final couple of corners, the one that has seen Nicolas Latifi crashing out and causing the entire drama happening. Pawlakovic is out of the session, but it doesn't matter for now, as Owen is probably on course to get at least a front row. And we'll see, he's now approaching the final corner, he spins round, and that's the end of the lap for him. He drops also to 6 because Luke Mills has improved his lap time. And that is the end of the dreams of pole position for Owen. As Tomohiro probably is now approaching the line and crossing the line, he's getting second with 23.6 timer is up. Drivers are still on their laps. For example, Aston Martins. And there's Adam Lapich crossing the line. Right behind him there's McLaren. I guess it's Alice. Lapich gets 12 and Alice gets 16. Pavlakovic is back in the session, so I guess he'll be back for the race. How about Maciej Turek? Can he make a decent lap time? Yes, he does. With 24.6, placing him in 9th place. So that is the end of the qualifying because as you can see, Luke Mills is slowly approaching the pit lane. So that's it for today's qualifying. We're still adjusting the sound settings because, well, this is my first PC stream. But yeah, Paolo Borlini will start the race in pole position ahead of Tom Moirer and 2 Hasses of Imchas and Bodan, being very close to pace together. Behind them, Luke Mills and Owen Heinen. Well, if they started first and second, that would be a bit more exciting, I guess. Maybe. 2 Williams of Muszyński and Palakovic, Maciej Turek ninth. Then we've got Paul Hill, Daniel Bakalik, Adam Lapich, Lucas McGinty, Jose Jardim, Alfie Harvey, Darryl Eiles, Rafael Ferraz, Drake Dempsey, and Jody Fogg will start from the last place. Of course, if I pronounce someone's name wrong, then please correct me in the comments, or actually in the chat. Let me see if there's anything in the chat, by the way. Yeah, there is a bit of a chat. Also, Emre is not racing in this lobby, he's on PlayStation. Well, these are the results of the qualifying. Most of the drivers still didn't add their flags into their profiles, but it's still fine, it's just a social race. And the rest did. Yeah, these 4 will have to do so. Anyway, these are the results of the qualifying session. Borlini, Moirer, Imchas, Bodan, that's the top 4. And we also may count Luke Mills and Owen into the contention for the victory today. Don't forget Drake Dempsey, as there's loads of stuff to go on during today's race, as we are now approaching the race session. As you can see, it's confirmed that Drake Dempsey is indeed racing in today's race, and well, we're about to start the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, there's Formation Lab before those, and there's that immersive thing because there are new features in the F1 game. For example, the immersive formation laps, where you have to park the car on the grid by yourself. Not that the AI will do so. You can now set it right a little bit behind, or actually you would prefer to do it at the front of the spot. But then you get backed out and you go further back, as it was an incorrect placement on the grid. But still, very nice feature. The one I actually like, in my opinion, brings some drama to the races because you can, for example, place yourself on the grid a little bit on the left side, on the right side, just to show the entire grid that you're going to attack the positions. You just don't stay straight in the start of the grid if you don't want to. As the drivers have started formation lap this year in Abu Dhabi, remember, we have 29 laps instead of 27, which it was last game, because we've got the new layout. It is a bit shorter, it is faster. That means we have to get more laps. And I also see a little bit of issues currently, but I hope this is just a temporary thing, or it's brutally lagging. But as you can see, I'm using kind of high graphics settings because why not? It has to look good on the streams. During this formation lap, I peacefully remind you to click the like button under the stream, invite your friends to watch, because this is going to be an exciting race, definitely. Also, you can join the Discord server, which is in the description. Sign up to Season 8 of True Home of League Racing. It is actually a true home, I'm telling you. You can actually debate about it, but still, I think it's a fact. Your opinion, though. As we're about to start the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, first official PC race, like as a social race, but still an F1 22. as it looks like Bodan is warming up his tires. And there's already a glitch I can tell you about, which is, well, as a spectator or even as a driver, you can see that drivers are burning out their rear tires until 5th gear. Oh, there's a crash between the houses! And these two are going to get disqualified. As you can see, these are the consequences. You are getting placed on the wrong spot. Actually, you're getting on the right spot, but a little bit behind. But let's see how Berlin is going to deal with that, because he has two cast drivers. And you can see this is the manual grid placement, because he's going slowly. He's going at the pace he wants. Now he's about to back up the car! Thankfully he's ghosted. And he goes a little bit on the left side of the track. So he can attack into turn 1. Maybe just a little bit of an issue to be solved. Or maybe not. We're just going with what we have. As we've got first 3, 4, 5 red lights. And the lights are out. We can see the Alpha Tower being placed on the little bit of left spot on the grid. It's Drake Dempsey as Bruni peacefully takes the lead into turn 1. He's not in danger. There is Furincias right behind him, who's been promoted. There's a Williams spinning as well. That's Jakub Moszyński. Iris is already out of the session. So that's the first DNF of this race. And there's already a full course yellow. Is that a full safety car as well? As Bruni and Jimchas, I guess they might be having a glitch of a 5-second time penalty and giving the position back, but we'll see. There is a full course yellow, and that's the full safety car. You can see the yellow dot. That was a very quick race for Darrell Isles, unfortunately. I hope he's going to do better in the official season. That's just a social race at the end of the day, where we just get known to all the game's mechanics, even if it is this way. As Brulini is peacefully leading the Grand Prix. Ahead of 4 Imchas, Tom Moirer, Darius Bodan and Luke Mills. Looks like, apart from the change between the 2nd and 3rd, yeah, until 6th place, no changes. So, Drake Dempsey has got the start of his life by getting instantly into 9th place. I don't know how he avoided this little bit of a carnage in turn 1. But Kul was definitely a victim, same as Jakub Moszyński and Adam Leipich, who's got a 5-second time penalty. But the drivers have got a dream start with definitely Drake and Jordi, who's been respectively promoted by 9 and 7 places, as Tom Moirer looks like he faked going to the pits. Same as Darius Bodan. We'll see if anyone goes for other reasons than wing damage. As Burlini is peacefully leading now. Here we are approaching the queue because Bernd Mailander has parked up his car. I wonder which car is it. And I see a little bit of lagging, I'll be honest with you. You know what, the safety car period is a pretty good one to deal with that. I'm going to slightly lower the graphics settings, so don't leave the stream. The screen will be back in around a minute. Remember, this is a social race, the first race on PC, where we work out all of the issues at the meantime. Well, because this is a good opportunity. You would not like to see me solving those issues during the British Grand Prix once the season starts. But I can place all things in just high quality rather than ultra high. There we go. It should be lowered. If there's still an issue, I don't know. As 2 drivers at least have been in the debates, and these are Pawlakowicz and Leipich. Let's see, yes, these are the only ones that stopped. Darrell Isles has already left the session. You can also tell me in the chat if everything goes correctly. This is the first stream, so yeah. Also checking the chat in the meantime. I'm still working out the ways how to do the stream as best as possible. Well, definitely these real names were the reason I moved to PC, with the crossplay coming out. And around October, I guess. Like, the date is not confirmed, and I still think it will be October. Because the EA developers have said later this year, as Looks like the safety car will be staying out for another lap. We have safety car settings on reduced, which feels like it should come out only when they are NFing. Because, for example, we did increase safety car back in F1 2021 in social race in Canada, as McGinty is losing places for some reason. Pawlakovic is in the pits yet again. He might be doing some cheeky strategic moves, as McGinty are having the glitch. Don't tell me. Yeah, they might be glitched. And I wonder what will happen right now. Because Burlini got 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, and I don't know what is the reason. This is kind of a penalty that must be cancelled. But he will go to the pit, so it will not be. Because these are the ERO rules, and well, you can gain those 5 seconds during serving them in the safety car during the safety car period. Will Pawlakovic goes out of the pit, so I guess the safety car might be coming in this lap, because if he joins the queue, it's going to be all sorted out, and we shall be racing yet again. Paolo Burlini with a 5-second time penalty, but knowing his pace in qualifying, which was some pretty decent stuff, I think he might be going. I think he might be going for some sort of an advantage. Also, hello everyone to the stream. 15 people, as said. You can invite your friends apparently to the lobby. As Berminander looks like he's staying up for another lap in the Mercedes, which is a pretty cool car though. While looking at the chat, safety cars in this lap, so yeah, great timing. Paolo Burlini will lead the way into turn 1, into the checkered flag of Abu Dhabi, and we'll start the season yet again. Actually, not the season, the race. We will start it again, as Mushinski gets 5-second time penalty for collision with Ferras, but if he has wing damage, it isn't that big of an issue, for one apparent reason. It's actually playable to race with wing damage, a slight one apparently. As Burlini leads the way in Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and we're about to restart the race under the lights of Yas Marina, as he's backing up of the queue of the cars. He is now starting, and this is the restart of Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Burlini peacefully leads the way. Murray's too hits up the tires. I see Williams causing yellow flags, but I guess it's all okay now. Will Pawlakovic is on the last place yet again. I don't know what happened. There's a wheel-to-wheel battle between Drake Dempsey and Paul Hill into 7th place, and Drake is way ahead. Tom Murray loses out places, and I don't know what happened out there, but he's now back into 16th, 17th place. So that is the big loss for him. 1 AlphaTauri gains, 1 AlphaTauri losses. And this stuff in this actual battle. And this makes both classes on the podium places looking for a 1-2 here if Burlini goes to the pit. It all depends on the teamwork, as Dempsey fights Mills for the position number 5. He's now doing his move successfully, and now he's approaching Owen. He's already 5th after 4 laps. Drake Dempsey on the great way to actually win this race as well. There are a couple of strong candidates. Not only him, not only Luke Mills, but both Cassis, Owen and Paolo, despite his time penalty. But this is the Formula 1. Everyone can win here, as we've got 20 people on the lobby. That's a great result, and we of course hope for more viewers and this live stream. Say hello to the chat, and I hope you'll stay until the end, as Bunian has a bit of a moment. And are you kidding me? Quill, why did you do that? He's out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and he's caused out a 2nd safety car. How many laps of racing did we have? Lap and 5 corners. Lap and 5 corners. It would be enough time for Max Verstappen to dive Lewis Hamilton on the final lap. But we're doing lap 5. Come on. Why? I wonder if we will see any strategic moves right now, as a couple of drivers have gone to the pits, for example Vogt, Vakalik or Mushinski. Vakalik is out of the session, and he's picked softs. So probably a nego dumper, which I have been known as a very common issue on PC. That's a great sign. Vogt has gone on mediums, and Havejad and Muslinski all into hard tires. Hasses are still in decent places despite Bodan spinning round in the penultimate corner. And he also says he's got damage from that. I don't know, Darius, why are you chatting during the race, but still, okay. And I can already see comments over the Owens qualifying lap. He was aiming for pole position. He was actually going for pole. And he spun around on the final corner. That gave me the vibes of 2021 Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, where also Drake goes to the pits like a genius. It gave me vibes of 2021 Saudi Grand Prix, where Max Verstappen was going for a lap of his life. Final corner, he approaches, and no more lap. As Drake Dempsey is going to come out of the pits behind his teammate Tom Moyer. On the 10th place he goes. Borini keeps leading the race. Now, Owen can play a part in in the play of Hasses, trying to get the 1-2 today. Drake is in the pits. I wonder how this will affect the strategy of others. Because he's already approaching the queue. So if you pit, you're behind him. Both Aston Martins are doing pretty decent with 7th and 8th, but remember, this is the first race of the season. Drivers are allowed to have a carnage. Not on purpose, but they can. It happens. We have to get used to this game and know how this works. For example, in my personal experience, I cannot drive in full throttle until the gear number 5. And even in Miami, I use half a throttle, even not half a throttle, in turn 2, and yet I still spin on 5th gear. That doesn't make a lot of sense because drivers in real F1 are doing full throttles on gear 2 or 3. But this is the game. Like, short shifting is OP. Safety car is not coming in this lap. We still have to wait for likes of Muszinski or Harvey. As I feel like, yeah, we'll definitely have a safety car for one more lap, but I feel like now the drivers who are on top 9 or 8, top 8, will be trying to make their stints on medium tires as long as possible, with one singular reason. Drake has already pitted. So, yeah, that's a bit of a decision to make. As we're probably having the last, actually the final lap under the safety car for now, because we, for example, remember the mess that was Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in Season 4 in F3 tier. I was commentating it myself, and this was a meme, a big meme, which included loads of crashes, 4 safety cars, 2 virtual safety cars, or something like that, and Florian Lawrence dropping from first, outqualifying everyone by 7/10, being comfortably first, winning spun round, dropping out of top 10, pitting, having overtaking 3 cars at once on a singular move, like 2 straights. Safety car coming out, and then himself overtaking Carsten Gerting on the final lap. I remember this stuff. That was actually crazy. This race isn't going to be a worse one. Looking at what happened on the first couple of laps. As safety car is likely to come in this lap. As yes, it is. It's coming in this lap. And it is Paolo Borlini yet again leading the way into turn 1. So Paolo Borlini is leading again, ahead of a hat again. This time it's for him chess. then Owen, then Darius, then Luke, then Paul, then both Aston Martins and both AlphaTauris. That's the top 10 for today at the moment on the lap 8 of Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I wonder what will be the strategies, because as I said, they might be longer their medium stints, as long as possible. Safety car has parked up and we're racing it again, and looks like Owen has got a great getaway. Comparing to for Imjas, and he's currently less than 3/10 behind the Haas. He's beating the Haas, but he can get ahead of both Haases. Is he able to do that? He's getting a great exit out of turn 1. Now can he make the move? No, he will spin round into turn 3 and parking up just perfectly, just about to avoid the wall. But he's now dropped into 17th, bringing the Haas as a gift of double podium yet again. Parlobolini leads the result again. It looks like Furnichos is not catching him. He's comfortably sitting in 2nd place. Looks like he is going to stay like that onto the next straight. He's not like Max Verstappen to dive in like in lap 1 he did. As Paul Hill is making a move on Luke Mills, pushing him a little bit off the track. Luke gets 3-second time penalty. I guess this might be appealed, as Paul Hill takes the 4th place. Now it's Ferrari, Haas, Ferrari, Haas, and Ferrari, and there's a freeway right behind us. It's Dempsey, Turek, and Mills into turn 9 hairpin, and it looks like it's going to be Dempsey out in front, as he's side by side with Luke Mills. No, Luke Mills stays right ahead of him, as this slippage spinning round out of the turn 9, as Drake makes a move around on the inside line into turn 12. Now he's looking for space yet again to attack Luke Mills for the position number 5, but still he can't get past him. And for the entire lap, Luke Mills does a great job, but there is no Mercedes teammate ahead of him, as Luke Mills just gives away the position by spinning round. That's what this game can do. Drake Dempsey is currently in 5th place, and now he's going to launch a move on both Ferraris and Haases as well. Mills currently on the last place. Owen has already overtaken Daniel Bakali for the position number 15. I guess he'll be making moves pretty quickly, as Bakalik is back into the session, as it's like a confirmation he has been disconnected. Also, I was out for a little bit just to solve a certain Discord issue. Anyway, for Imchas is on the 2nd place. We can see there is Ferrari of Paolo Berlini 1.8 seconds ahead of 4. It looks like it's a stable situation, as Tom Moyer makes a move on Maciej Turek for position number 6. It's now 3 teams in the first 6 places. All we need is Berlini either dropping to 3rd or he'll overtaking both Haases to make it perfect harmony. As Tom Moyer is for 2.4 seconds, Muszyński gets 5th time penalty. This is the definitely 3rd time penalty for today. There was of course more, but we can display only 3, because these are the ones that have not been served or just penalty track limits penalties. As Paolo Berlini sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I wonder if there's going to be anyone faster for now, as Drake Dempsey is very close to Paul Hill for 4th place. He's got a little bit of a gap to both Haases, but if Paul can make a good job, he might let his teammate for today winning. He might let his teammate to win this race, because all he needs to do is to properly defend from Drake, and the effects will come very quickly, as he's now a bit of going to the middle of the racing line. Now he's having Drake still right behind him. Drake plays it smart. He prefers to have DRS it again rather than overtaking and then being overtaken. Now he's having the short shift. Now he's using the DRS. He's not using ERS, but with the power of the drag reduction system, he might get ahead of Paul Hill. He's side by side with the Ferrari, as looks like he's completing that move very smoothly indeed on Paul Hill, and he is promoted into 4th place. I wonder what Haases will now do. Are they going to do something like, yeah, let's just Drake past because he's too fast for us, or will they fight him until the very last moment possible? Because they have a double podium on the stakes. Well, this is a singular one. It looks like the top 6 has pretty much gone away from the rest of the pack, as Bodel has already has to defend from Drake. Yellow flags are caused by Lucas McGinty in the penultimate corner. As Drake will be looking for a move on the inside of Darius. I wonder if Darius will play it smart and give him the RS away. He's waving about a bit. That was a very scary situation. Vogt is out of the session. And I wonder if it calls out the third safety car. Sorry for the noises. But it was meant to be like that. It's actually meant to be like that because, well, I wonder what Drake and Darius are doing, but themselves and the top two of Berlinian ninjas are having a mess. And I guess one of them will get the 5-second time, but Drake tries to take the lead of the race by so. Just go out of the racing line, just go off the circuit in order to bring all the places back, but Berlin has lost the lead due to the glitch. I swear if EA doesn't correct it. I swear. Wojciech left the session after retiring. AKA crashing out. There's another episode of that mess going on because Imjaz, it looks like he spun round. I swear if he has damaged front wing. He doesn't. But it's still a mess. Bodan doesn't go to the pits, but both Ferraris do. Drake Dempsey is on the lead of the race. This is the part where we say this is over and we are watching the battle for the second place right now. Unless Darius can think of something on the restart. As Owen is out of the Grand Prix in the pits. I wonder what's the reason. Maybe a little bit too much of a spin. But at the moment Drake is indeed leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, a social race in ERO. Hayden is out already. As we've got also Luke Mills in the pits, but the reason is not damaged at the moment. Maybe let's see the strategies. What are the tires? The only ones who haven't got to the pits are Bodan and Moirer. Now AlphaTauris are leading. I wonder how is it that on reduced safety car setting, you still have 3 safety cars in 12 laps. I know this is the beginning of the game. This is the start of the game. It's like the first month. As we've got also a decent situation for Alfa Romeos, because they are 6th and 7th. Their strategy might be a chance. Both Portuguese drivers, they might think of a strategy, like Ferraz sacrificing his race just to let Jardim get a decent result. For example, myself, I can block drivers and be defensive when driving. An example was in PSF2 Hungarian Grand Prix, Bodan walks into the pits and gets 3-second time penalty. I love this game. Codemasters, I know there is no chance you're watching this, but if you are watching this, fix this game. Because it's another glitch you have found. I know this is early game, but if you launch a full version, then you have to make it work. Not like that. Seriously. As looks like, yeah, Drake is using as much rotation as he can. Mushinski is out of the session, despite being third. Okay, that's beyond interesting. Also, I can hear some glitches into the audio. Well, Drake is peacefully leading under the safety car, and that's the good news for him, at least. But I guess before the safety car restart, very quickly I try re-inviting Mushinski into the session. Or I can't. This is Steam. This is just Steam moment. Or actually PC moment. Bakari gets 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I don't know why. As Mushinski is back in. And the safety car is likely to come in this lap because we've got all the queue. And yes, it is. Mushinski has lost 2 places already. I don't know how, I don't know why. But yeah, it is what it is with this game. As he is likely to be back into the session. Yes, he is. He lost 2 places, but it's still a decent 5th after all the mess he has experienced in the first 11 laps. Now we're in lap 14. Actually, we're approaching lap 14. Both AlphaTauris are leading the way ahead of the restart. And it's going to be Drake Dempsey and Tom Moirer peacefully leading the session. Right behind them, there's Alfie Harvey, who has gone into the pits, but he's on the all-medium tire, so I don't think he'll be going to attack any of these two. Drake Dempsey goes away. Tom Moirer plays a bit of a game, because their teammate, as he is already a second ahead of Alfie Harvey. And I wonder if this is going to be a simple 1-2 for these two, or they will fight. This is now the question we all ask about, because there is no team orders in this stage, because this is a social race. McGinty is already out of the session. He retired at the pit, as Tom Moirer is around half a second on the 5 laps older hard tires. So I wonder how this will play out for him. I wonder what is also the tire wear for Derek Dempsey, and actually Tom as well. Mushinski tried to make a move on Imchas. Actually, Imchas made a move on Mushinski, and now he's got into 5th place. AlphaTauri is already 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Mushinski tries to overtake Imchas into turn 6, and he's not able to do it. He's been a little bit pushed off the track. He's a little bit issues. So for Kazas Porini makes a move on both of them. That is a very strong move. That very beautiful one from the Italian, as Imchas and Mushinski are still side by side. Mushinski has to back out of it and stays on position number 7. And yes, I'm aware of the glitch we have with the Sounders Jardim. I don't know what that was, but he's lost 2 places now. Also, if you're afraid of the glitch going on, I'm aware of that, but this is this game, as there's a crash between Jardim and Kill, and I'm not sure what happened out there. Maybe Jardim was just going a little bit slower, and there's another spin. This time it's Bakalik. And there is another spin of Tom Moirer. A little bit of technical issues on the way. Bakalik is out of the session, retiring by himself. Moirer is lost 10 places once. There's so much mess going on in this particular race. Burlini makes a move on Harvey for the 2nd place. He's peacefully now going to chase Drake if possible. We'll see. As Harvey spins round, this is the first spin I have seen in the space of half a lap. Or 4th, because it was Bakalik, Hill, Moirer, and this time it's Alfie. Overtaken by Tom Moirer now. Who can now do a last to first it again. As Jardim lets pass another driver. I don't know what's happening here, because we've got another unplayed. I think that's a Haas. And Bordelon has no front wing. That's more than an interesting situation. Because we're seeing more and more damages on the way. You can tell this is a new game. You can tell these drivers are just getting used to it. And they're practicing. There's another spin. This time it's Adam Lepic. And Ferron spins yet again with him. So many spins in the space of a lap. I'm not even joking at this point. Burlini has caught Dempsey by 2/10 after turn 6 on last lap, so there might be a little bit of a chase down there. He's got 6 laps, fresher hard tires. This might play a part. This may play a part in this situation and this strategy on this remaining 14 laps of the Grand Prix. Mushinski and Turek are fighting for the 4th. And all of that mess. Everyone has decided to crash out, so they have decided that they will take this opportunity. As there is 6 cars already out of the race. That's another thing to mention with all of that mess, and I don't think this is the end. As drivers are complaining about the sound glitch, as I did recently. I don't know where this comes from, but it has to be fixed as soon as possible. Maybe I just show you point of view from Paolo, because this isn't serious. Moira gets me second time penalty. I guess he's still recovering after the spin. But I can hear the glitch. Yeah, you have to fix this right now. I'm telling you. I can't even believe that. But looking at the fight between Turek and Mushinski for the 4th place, now going to a little bit of happy stuff. We've got 2 Poles fighting for a distant 4th place. I know that Mushinski has a time penalty for exceeding track limits, at least, the one. But it still can be a little bit of a fight. Turek has no penalties. He can sit peacefully on the 4th, and maybe even overtake Mushinski with DRS, because he will have DRS right now. Mushinski has no ERS to defend with, same as Turek has no ERS to attack with. So we'll see who's going to come out of top of this battle. Burlini is already 2.7 behind Drake Dempsey. Mushinski weaves about a bit. He's taking the outside line into turn 6. Bodean is out of the session. The pits, as I said, this is not, the Bakalik tournament was not the final one. Turek has DRS it again. This might be the chance for him to actually get into 4th place at the final, but he's not using his ERS as he's slowly getting side by side with the Williams. And now he's about to make a move? No, he's not. He stays behind Mushinski. That's some sort of defending. They also have to mind that Luke Mills is getting close to them. The advantage of tires for Berlini is definitely working. You can see he's 2.7 behind Drake Dempsey. Not the end of this race, I must say. Not that the winner is just predicted. So maybe Dempsey is just saving his tires. Not sure. We'll see. We're watching the battle for the 4th. Spin of Jose Jardim happens in sector 3. And now he's out at points. Like theoretical points, because we are not giving points for this race. But Turek still has to save his ERS if he wants to make a move. Only Jakub Muszyński. As it looks like, he's now using ERS. I don't know why he's using ERS in that early stage of a straight. You preferably use that later on. Also, with Bodan retiring, I must say, the double podium has gone away, because it's not going to be a thing anymore. Maybe a single one for Imchas, because you can see the gap between Muszyński and Turek. Muszyński and Imchas. It's already 7.7 seconds. Which means these two drivers are fighting so hard they are losing loads of time to the drivers ahead of them. As now Turek is looking to still looking to get past Muszyński, and he still can't. He's lost another half a second to the top 3. CL is the one. It is Burlini. It is Burlini who spun around. He's losing a place, and Kupki only lost a place because the all gap he has been reducing to Drake is now gone. Now we can actually say Drake is about to win the race, because Paolo Burlini has spun around. Thankfully, he only lost time, not a single bit of a wing. Luke Mills has already approached the 2 Poles fighting him for position number 4. As it looks like, he's having the ERS yet again. He's using all of his ERS. It's not the way you want to overtake Muszyński. If you want to actually get him. We'll see. The gap is 4 seconds. Muszyński moves under braking into the inside line, so pretty safe, because Turek was not making a move onto the inside. Now Turek is using his DRS yet again. Can he make a move this time? Luke Mills has already approached these two. He has a penalty though, but he can get out of Muszyński at least. And now Turek makes a move around the outside, and this one might actually work. And he's getting side by side with the Williams. They're so close, they're inches away from crashing, but they keep it clean in the moment, as there is a contact between them. But thankfully, it's only Muszyński losing 2 places, not crashing out completely, like for example the Portuguese Grand Prix in Season 7 PCF2. Now, Turek cannot actually catch up to Paolo, because he's got Luke Mills right behind him, who's also looking, he's also fancy to make a move. Luke making no assist driver this season, he's using no line anymore. And you can see he's pretty decent with that. As Leipzig... Oh, it's Tomoyer pitting, but he's been on 19 laps so hard. He's still in the theoretically points-paying position, and he will be, because he will easily overtake the Alfa Romeos. He's going into mediums. I wonder if the softs would work, as Paul Hill gets another 3-second time penalty. Now it's Luke Mills going for a move on Maciej Turek. This should be an easier one, comparing to Turek trying to attack Muszyński for like 4 laps in this race. Luke Mills peacefully takes the 4th place, but Turek... Oh, that was so close between these two. From a crash, Ferraz takes the 32nd time penalty for exceeding track limits. Turek has DRS, but he's also a second away from Mills, so no point to use any of the ERS. Just use the DRS you have and watch Luke actually try to get a 3rd place. Paolo Burlini actually might get into top 10 for the first time since China's Season 7 in PCF 3. This was the last time he scored points, and he didn't even finish that race because the race was carnage itself on the first lap essentially, and Burlini crashed out on the final lap while leading. Moyer has already made a move on Ferraz. I thought Jardim was actually spinning. No! It's Leipzig and Harvey spinning at the same time. I have no comments for these two. How many times they will spin? How many more times they will spin? I'm not sure. I know this game is more difficult in terms of handling, but still. Luke Mills is 31.5 seconds ahead of Turek. Harvey has spun yet again. Now he's giving a free position to Tom Moyer, who's now chasing down Jose Jardim. I think this might be his final move for today, unless Adam Leipzig goes to the pits with his wing damage, but he didn't, so he has no damage. So he only spun round. Sector 1, yellow flags, that's half for the 3rd time. Just for your information, if you want to cool down your tires, just go slower. Or go to the pit. Maybe it could be a puncture in coming laps. I don't know. But Drake is leading the way by 10 seconds at the moment. He's peacefully leading the Grand Prix. No fighting currently happens because out of 19 drivers, we have only 12. And I guess that will be 11 soon. Yes, it is. Alf Garvey is out of the session. He said enough of speeding. Thank you for all the spins you have done. Now you can enjoy the rest of the race as a viewer. But is there any more fighting? There might be between Moyer and Jardim. Moyer is currently less than a second. Behind Jose, and he's keen on making a move. You can see how much quicker he is. Adam Leipzig goes to the pits, probably trying to get the fastest lap. I don't know how you get the fastest lap from Drake unless you're an esports driver, but still, you can try. As Tomoyer will make a move before the DRS into turn 1, and he's now ahead of Jose Jardim. Very clean stuff from the AlphaTauri driver. He is still recovering himself. He's 20 seconds behind. I guess that might be all of overtakes he has done today, but that was a satisfying one to watch. As we might have something in terms of battle for position number 2, as it is Paolo Burlini chasing down Furimcias, 2.3 seconds. And I meant to get Burlini. Thank you. Anyway, speaking about Burlini, he's 2.2 seconds behind Imjas. He's slowly getting him. He's around 2.3 seconds behind him at the moment, but he might be slowly getting faster. Alfie Harvey is out of the session, so he decided maybe to watch the race on YouTube. Will be fine. So, as of now, we're having yellow flags in sector 2. I guess that's Rafael Ferraz. You can see how many spins drivers are experiencing today. And Owen, my sound isn't normal. It's also glitch. No, it can be back to normal. No, it isn't. But Paolo, despite having absolutely no ERS, as Turek has gone into the pits as well. I thought Tomer is going to comfortably finish on position number 7, but he's now going to comfortably finish on position number 6. As he's going to fight against Kosejadim, not a big of a fight because Kosejadim is behind and he's on all cards. Burlini is 1.7 seconds behind, so he's definitely gaining in Sector 1. Ferris is out of the session in the pits, so anyone who finishes would get points if this was a season race. Well, it isn't. It's a social one. Come on, Rafael, you are so close. One pit from one of the drivers and you would be on the spot. As Turek looks like he's not getting away from Hossa, who's on only an 18 lap old hard. He's still in DRS, but not anymore, I guess, because the gap is now 1.3. I guess he will be still saving tires, Maciej Turek, in order to try to get the fastest lap. But Burlini is now 1.6 seconds behind. It's not that far, it's 1.5. He's definitely gaining through Sector 1. This is the point where he gains it. All the time he can. As Ferraz spikes on the track, and I wonder what he has done in the middle of the circuit. No, he's not on the circuit anymore. So, Paolo Burlini on the way to probably catch for the second place. If you can't win the race because of Drake, you can still get second and you will be satisfied. As Drake is currently 10.9 seconds away. Furium just is not that slow comparing to him, because he's like having 4 tenths a lap of a gap between him and the American. Something around that. Yeah, he's lost a little bit more right now, but it's definitely not over a second per lap. Especially considering he's on 6 laps pressure hot. I wonder if Tom Moyer, yeah, he's definitely catching Jakub Buszyński for the 5th. But it's not that big of a gap. Actually, it's a big gap, but it's not that big of an advantage for him. But we could probably see him. That's a very cool camera view. It should stay for the entire race. Unless for the key moments, as Paolo Burlini makes 27.8. Maybe let's quickly compare that to Fur, who's done a 27.9. So there is a gap of around 10 between Paolo and Fur. That might be a little bit too little. A little bit not enough to get position number 2, but he's still 1.4 behind. If he just finishes the race, he can do it and still get his first theoretical points since China in season 7. Like theoretical, because this is not a race where we're giving points for. Wojciech in pits, probably full softs and trying to get fastest lap. Paolo is 1.2 seconds behind Fur. He's using all of the ERS he even doesn't have just to get to position number 2. He's less than a second behind now. He's around a second behind now. So it may be a concern of getting DRS now in lap 26 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He must be grateful for having 2 more laps of racing because this track is a little bit shorter. And faster Burlini, there goes his chance for position number 2. And that's the end of the fight, I guess, for the second place. It was very close. He was pushing, he was gaining. It didn't end up the way he wanted. Now he has to defend for the 3rd. Even though Luke Mills has a penalty, he still has to be ahead of him on track, just to make sure. As following the rest of the situation, drivers peacefully... Oh, there's a fight for the 9th place between Wojciech and Paul Hill. They have similar tires. Paul's tires are 1 lap older. He's got the 3-second tire penalty. Fair one, definitely. But Jose has DRS, so he might be able to re-overtake. No. But to get closer, yes. To Paul Hill. This is the fight for the 9th place, currently what we're watching. Because the rest of the grid is actually salted. I guess if we have an Abu Dhabi race as round 15 of the next season, of season 8, we'll definitely see more finishes on the grid today, rather than today. Jose is now nearly out of DRS from Paul, so this might be end of a fight for position number 9. But Paul, 3-second penalty, fair one, I'm telling you. We're entering lap 27. Last year I would say we would enter the final lap. But we still have 3 more ahead of us. And the only thing we can hope for is Tom Moyer catching Mushinski, because he's regained another 7 seconds. He's regained another 7 seconds. Jardin is already out of the DRS, so probably not a big of a contention at the moment. Also, more people complaining at the bags and the sound glitch. As Drake Dempsey peacefully leads the race by around 13 seconds, and he's about to lap Paul Hill and Jose Jardim. Like, I wouldn't say he would do that because it's still a couple of seconds. But that's not big. As we're about to hop into lap 28, maybe let's just watch Drake being a very quick. Okay, Adam Lepich, you have distracted us with a spin in turns 2 and 3, and you might even be overtaken. Yeah, you will definitely be overtaken by both Hill and Jardim, and not only that, you will be lapped by Drake. Because there's no point. Actually, there is no point when we watch that, because he's pitting for a new front wing, definitely. Well, I mean, there's no point for. I don't know. But that was definitely a weird one for Madame Leipzig. Well, as a moment where you can feel a little bit better, we can tell you that we have, for example, witnessed 6 spins in a singular lap. That's how you learn this game. Turek gets 3 seconds empty. Moirer is less than 3 seconds behind Muszyński. I mean, Muszyński has old hard tires, but it doesn't change the fact he's getting caught very, very quickly by the Swiss driver, who might be still in contention for the 5th. I mean, it's not the end. It's 2.5 seconds. Drake Dempsey still has a lap to go after the one he's completing right now on these 22 laps old hards. Moirer is on kind of fresh mediums. They are 8 laps old. They are definitely quicker than these old hards. Let's see the gap right now. It's 2.2, 2.1. Yeah, he's gaining a lot. He might gain a lot in Sector 3. I wonder if he'll make a move on the last lap, because this might be a little bit of an action for the end of today's Grand Prix, as he's now less than 2 seconds behind Machines. Drake Dempsey on the final lap of the Grand Prix. He's peacefully going through a hairpin, and Leipzig is still fighting Jose Jardim for position number 9. Actually, he hopes that Paul Hill will not go as far away as he can in order to clear his penalties and still be ahead of Adam. They might be even lapped by Drake. But we're watching this battle between Tom Moirer and Jakub Muszyński. The position number 5 is on the stake. It's on the line. As the tensions might go a little bit high, these two drivers have been involved in many incidents during their ERO careers in various divisions, races, lap steers. As Tom Moirer, will he make a launch down the inside? No, Muszyński defends the inside line. We'll see if that works out. No, it doesn't. There's a contact between these two, but I don't think there's nothing else than minor wing damage for Tom. It happens. There's still a chance. He's still having a little bit of ERS more than Jakub, who's got none of the ERS. As Tom will make a move down the inside. No, he also backs out of it. Maybe he looks for a move it again. Drake Dempsey wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the meantime. And now Tom Moirer is getting a hell of an exit. And now he's definitely getting ahead of Jakub Muszyński for position number 5. And that's how he does it on the final lap. First and 5th, AlphaTauri Inchas finishes on the 2nd place. He had the chance for a double podium with Darius Bodean, but Darius has got loads of issues on the way and retired at the final. Bullini finishes 3rd, and Mills on the 4th place. Now Tom Moirer, after a piece of a move on Jakub Muszyński, despite these little patches, he's got it. He's got the 5th place. He's still got a corner to go. And now, crossing the line for position number 5, Muszyński has to satisfy with the 6th place. Late pitch without the front wing and still fighting Koseżanym. How funny is that? The final 4 runners on the softs, definitely Turek is going to finish 7th and Paul Hill on the 8th. But Adam Lepic still defends himself from Wojciech, who could have easily overtaken him into any turn he wants, but he doesn't. I know he has a penalty, but it still doesn't change the fact he could have gone away by at least 3 seconds. In a couple of laps, he's now touching with Adam Lepic. Now it's the fight for the 9th place, at least on the track. I know Koseżanym has penalties, so Adam Lepic will finish 9th regardless. Adam Lepic defends the inside. This is a sort of a defense without the front wing. As he finishes 9th, or even 8th, ahead of Paul Hill. He's done that. Solid performance from him, and Koseżanym is also promoted to 9th. I know. We know Jake Dempsey's driver today, there is no contention. Maybe without Jake, I would call Fur driver of the day, because he's been consistent all race long. Jake Dempsey is the winner. Just taken half of the races of season 7. He still got third despite racing half of the season. That's some decent stuff. Only tight competitors of Tukarkola, who unfortunately will be racing as a reserve most likely this season, and Arian Bilbas, who has already signed up. These two were the only ones who could get ahead of Drake in the standings. And they had half a season more. It's Jake Dempsey, your winner of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Such a great social race. We solved all the issues, maybe not all, because I have to lower the stream bitrate a little bit, but it still works pretty decent. As Jake Dempsey ahead of Fur Imtiaz, Paolo Bornini, Luke Mills, Tom Meurer, Jakub Muszyński, Maciej Turek, Adam Lepic, Koseżanym, and Paul Hill. This is the amount of drivers that have finished the race today, and the ones who didn't are Rafael Ferraz, Alfie Harvey, Darius Bodan, Daniel Bakalik, Lucas McGinty, Owen Heinen, Jody Vogt, Quil Pawlakowicz, and Daro Ailes. Well, I didn't tell you through the entire race that we'll be getting a new logo since August, because you can see it on the top right corner. We already showcased that one. A pretty minimalistic one, I'll say, and we can use the old one, the still current one, as the artistic, and this one as an official, because that looks very cool. Anyway, stopping about all of those staff named logos. I know there will be a conference screen, but we're not doing a conference probably, as I see a little bit of a lag. Yeah, now it's working. As that was ahead of a race, and I definitely liked it. Also, Muszyński already claimed on the chat that he had floor damage during the entire race. Yeah, that's it for today. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because this is what we need to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're very close to that, as you can see. With all the newcomers subscribing to the channel, it would be very easy. So yeah, just do it. I'm telling you. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It was a very enjoyable race. The next race I'll be commentating is probably the debut drivers race on PC, which we already have some sort of the grid, but it's not wide. Still, you can still sign up as a debut driver. You may get a seat out there if you say you can race or you might race. Your decision, but I recommend it heavily. So thank you for watching, and we will see you maybe in debut drivers race, or in a kind of other social race. And yes, I know sound was awful all race, but I'll be doing a short about it. You also got floor damage. Are you kidding me? Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you